I was excited for my Giants that they were playing the Sox and the sweep was in their grasp. And somehow the Giants, who just love to just stay at 500, managed to lose the last fucking game of the series. And
Seems to
the
be a theme.
Sox had to try. I mean, you could have fucking laid down and help my other team out or something. Jesus, the team with a
Yeah.
chance.
I mean, clearly you are a White Sox fan first, but
Yeah.
who gives a fuck about this season? It certainly
Yes.
helps your Giants who are in the wild card race. So I could see why you're rooting for the Giants. I'm I'm had we I mean the Tigers and Cubs, they're neither of them going to make the playoffs. Some people still think the Cubs will. I think that's bullshit. I was just rooting for the Tigers. I'm always Tigers over the Cubs. Uh, Unfortunately, the Cubs took 2 out of 3, but yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I assumed you were rooting for your Giants as you're wearing you have been wearing your Giants gear the last several episodes, so I wasn't too
Yeah.
surprised about that. But
I'm totally rooting for the Giants, and I mean, I'm with you though. I feel like outside of the Giants or Cubs going on like some 10-game win streak, they're not making the playoffs. They're not making the
yeah,
wild card. There's too much. The Cubs and Giants, I think, are they tied now? Or yeah, they're tied. Or
they're
no, half a game. The Giants have a
half a
half game
game,
on the Cubs, just like they have a half a game on the Tigers in overall
but
record.
they're like 6 games back in the loss column behind the Braves, and they still have both would have to pass the Mets.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean,
it's
it
just
just yeah.
I think you're right. I think if either went on a 10-game winning streak, then yes, that's possible. The Cubs keep losing one game in a series, which is fine if you did that throughout the year, but they've dug such a huge hole that
Yeah.
you can't even playing 670 baseball doesn't get you to the playoffs at this point. So it's ridiculous, but I think you're right. I think a 10-game winning streak is the only way either of those teams could find their way into the actual playoff race, barring a tremendous historic collapse by the Braves, which I guess there's potential there, and who knows what the Mets are capable of. So there is, with a month to go, I guess there is some mathematical hope out there, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah. No, it's like it seemed very plausible when we went to the All-Star break because outside of God, I forget who the Giants played, but they only played like they only had one team with truly a winning record.
Yeah, you
Uh
went over the record or
yeah.
the ease of schedule for our
Yeah.
teams on the way out, which
And
is they're kind of taking advantage of, but it's not enough.
no, like they should be probably 5 games over 500 right now with the schedule that they've had so far coming back from the All-Star break. They got to 3 games. They've given it all back.
Ugh.
And it's like it's just whatever they have just isn't enough. And maybe one of these teams, the because I feel like the Giants and Cubs are kind of the same team right now. They have
Yeah.
pretty decent pitching, pretty decent starting pitching on both sides. And the Cubs bullpen, like you pointed out, as you'll get more into that probably in a minute here, is like been the best bullpen in baseball for a few months now. But like you put all that in, you hear all these positive things, and we talk about all these positive things with both the Giants and the Cubs. Yet there's always some shit looming that doesn't happen. It's either their pitching is lights out and they can only score 1 run. It's same thing for
Yep.
both teams, or they put up 13 runs and they let up 14. Like
Mm.
it's like there's just no rhyme or reason for any of it. And I guess that's what makes baseball such a unique sport because of I think it's always the length of the season where in football, you win 10 games in a row, you're headed to the playoffs without a
Yeah.
doubt. You win 10 games in a row in baseball, depending on when you do it, eh, that may not mean
Yeah.
that much at the
Yeah.
end of the day. I mean, the White Sox actually won 5 games in a row once this year. They are still going to finish with the worst record in baseball history.
Wow.
Word Hole Media.